Hello and welcome to the Monday night live stream, aka hangout stream, aka chill stream. It's where we can meet up each week. We can talk about reading, writing, and indulge upon the creative minds of the indie scene. I am Jonathan Rosignol. If you don't know who I am, you can visit www.livefreeliverich.com, or you can just Google my name and you can find out. Also, I left a link in the description this time to make it a little bit easier for you. So, hold on, let me change this. So, last week was just kind of like a introductory stream, kind of give like a gist of what this whole idea is about. Effectively, this is when it's slow. I may just come on here. I'm just going to do a quick recap for anyone that may be watching this for the first time. I may be putting something down in the description too to make this a little bit smoother. But when it's slow and there's no one in the chat and just no one hanging out, I may just use this time and I may just read, or I may just write. And if people pop in and out here and there, stop by, say hi, or you can come in. I stream every Monday at 8 p.m. You can come in here, and if you just want to read, hang out, do chit chat, I'm cool with that. Or if you want to use this time and get some writing done, and you just want like a writing partner or something, you want to bounce some ideas off of me, I'm cool with that too. But if you are a content creator, this is also a place where you can just come in and you can plug your YouTube channel. You could plug some videos, and I have some extra things. I do have a video that I'm going to be watching live on this stream. I just want to get through this first. And I thought about it after the fact from last stream. So as far as sharing content goes, I just want to say that I'd prefer that you're just sharing your content that you created. So don't be sharing anybody else's content. That also goes for like if you're sharing like links from a website or something like that. But other than that, like this is your show and I'm just playing producer. So if you have a video that you'd like me to watch, if it's on YouTube, then I could just bring it up on the live stream, and I can watch it on the live, and you can get my reaction, get some commentary, maybe offer a little bit of insights based on the nature of the content. And like some examples would be like if you do like a video essay, or if you're doing a video that is like Booktube, Authortube related type content, I'm cool with that too. I mean, I guess like, you know, if I guess it kind of depends like what it is. But if the video comes from a third-party website, like the one tonight, then what you can do is just go ahead and leave a comment and with the link, and I'll look it up and I'll hold it for review, and I'll still do it on the live stream if it's you know, something that's appropriate to put on YouTube. Obviously, I can't be streaming Pornhub on the live stream. Okay, so I just will hold it for review. I'll check it out beforehand, make sure give it the okay, and then on the following stream, I'll play it on the stream, and that way everyone can be involved with it live. Also, and so if you're a and if you're a writer but you're not a content creator on YouTube, say you have your own website and you run a blog, I will gladly load up your website or load up your blog, and I'll read an article, an essay, a poem, or a piece of flash fiction that you've written and posted on your website, and see if and give you a little plug that way. And also, and the last thing is, I don't want you to feel like you're pressure, like there's no pressure here. This is the chill stream, hangout stream, live stream. You can just pop in if you just want to chill, be a part of the audience, or if you are a writer, artist, and you have a book on the market, or you're just releasing a book, and you want to, you just want to get a shout out, I'm cool with doing shout outs as well. So if you want to pop in here, you want to hang out for a bit, and participate in the live stream, I appreciate that. And if you want to get a little shout out for your book projects that you already got published, then I can look them up, bring them up on the live stream, and I'll read the blurb or the synopsis of your book on the live stream, and see if we can't raise some awareness for your work, as they say. So like, that's what I mean by this is your show and I'm just playing producer here. There's something else. Oh yeah. So with that being said, let me just get into this final little piece of housekeeping before we jump into the video here. So with all that being said, I just got to say I'm going to give a quick little disclaimer that in terms of any of the content that I share on this live stream, I know this should go without saying, but you never know with people. So it's like anything that I share on the live stream in terms of material, just like to say that any of the thoughts and views or of the content creators or artists or authors are not a reflection of my own, and by me sharing the content on the live stream does not mean that I am endorsing the content. I'm just sharing it and making and raising awareness of its existence. So there you go, people. All right, let's get into this video here. This one comes from BitChute. I am on BitChute as well. This one comes from creator BBT and the Self-Preservation Society. Interesting channel name. I'm assuming this is, well, the video itself is more of a spiritual / philosophical type video, and this type of subject matter really interests me. But for me, like, all of this content that I'm sharing on here, this is just entertainment for me. Anything that I put on the live stream, you guys are providing me, as far as I'm concerned, you guys are providing me with entertainment. The things that you may share on the live stream. So, but in terms of the audience, what you guys see in the video, I mean, just, you could take it with a grain of salt, and you can just look at this as like, this is something that might inspire your writing, might spark some ideas in terms of creative projects, what have you. All right, let's get into it and see what he has to say.
Hello, this is the Self-Preservation Society. I'm Basil, broadcasting.
Hello, Basil.
Truth and Therapy. Here I am using the talking stick. And as always, in the majority of my uploads, I will make this point clear. I speak from my point of awareness and my point of knowing. My last upload, people going, questioning me, good. I love that. I love that. I learned so much from it. You know, I don't learn a lot from the hate and the vitriol, but I learned when you question. But I stand by it, as I stand by the one before that and all the other uploads on my channel. I stand by them all. Stand by them all, because I am not doing this to cause you harm, loss, or injury. I am doing what I do here to enable, empower, and enlighten.
Fair enough.
Somebody questioned my comments, a comment on my last video, where I spoke in the last video about we come out of Africa. The human species gives rise to the human race. And whether you accept that or not, at your point of awareness and knowing, based upon information received, is entirely up to you. But the information most of you are receiving comes from the matrix. And let me tell you about science, my friends. Science is the belief of experts. It's religion. It ties you, bonds you, and thwarts forward progress.
The only thing that I was going to say there is just the belief in. He said science is the belief of experts, or belief in experts, but that's not. Experts are not the science. When people, I understand where he's coming from. I think I understand where he's coming from when he's saying that, because I think that what he's making mention, what he's kind of alluding to, is like the idea of when people usually say believe the science, like what they're really saying is believe the experts. They're just not saying believe the experts. They're saying believe the science, but really what they're saying is believe my priest, or believe, the expert. So I think that's what he meant there. But science itself is really based on the scientific method, which is just what it is, a methodology, which is actually rooted in an objective philosophy.
A lot of people are often quoting Tesla. Tesla was not a scientist. What Tesla was for me one of the greatest mediums certainly of recent years. A medium is merely a point between 2 points. And when you see this, then you're well on the path to conscious awakening. And I'm not being pedantic or condescending. You think
I'll be the judge of that, Basil.
I am. After I've just made that statement, then that is merely your projection, not mine.
Now, that's not gaslight.
Projecting your shit on me and water off a duck's back. Tesla was merely a point between 2 points. He's recorded as saying, I am but a receiver. He never invented anything. Nobody has ever invented anything in the history of the earth.
Nothing new under the sun, baby.
Indeed, in the history of the universe. All one can ever achieve is to be conscious of that which is, and to seek to understand that which is. You discover things. Who, as Tesla was a great exponent of it, conscious awareness. Anything other than conscious awareness is your prison. The spirit, the mind, the ego, the five senses, the third dimensional reality in which you perceive that you live in. Let me tell you, my friends, it's only make-believe. To quote Conway Twitty, one of my favourite songs. It's only make-believe. Everything you experience, in whichever form you experience it, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you only experience it because you're not consciously awake. Right, left-hand side, second from bottom. Go.
I don't know if that was actually, hold on. I just want to check something real quick. And just make sure my mic wasn't make sure my mic wasn't echoing. Make sure my mic wasn't echoing.
Third dimensional reality in which you perceive that you live in. Let me tell you, my friends, it's only make-believe. To quote Conway Twitty, one of my favourite songs. It's only make-believe.
All right, so apparently I have to mute my microphone when I play the video, so we'll keep going with the vid.
Within or go without. If you don't go within to oneness, you will forever be controlled by duality, which is not natural to the one.
At this part in the video, I'm like, all right, so he's referring, I think he's referring to like the singularity theory here.
Duality is not a natural aspect of the one. It is the program that controls and dominates the consciousness. And I was really empowered when I listened to Matt Tegan's latest upload today, the last Great War, I think it was. The Last World War. Really empowered when I listened to that today, because from about 35 minutes in, he was talking about consciousness, and that is the last great barrier that holds your masters back, your consciousness. That is the last bastion of the self, the I am, the one. They control and dominate every other aspect of what you can see to be the self. The spirit, they created it. The dark, demonic, satanic, spiritual forces that come from outside our universe to this singular universe and brought with it the construct of duality and all that comes from it, has controlled you ever since. Incarnation after incarnation. I've said repeatedly, nobody outside of you is ever going to save you. All that anybody outside of you can do, be it Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, the Arcturians, the Targetians, the Palladians, Uncle Tom Cobley, all they can ever do is show you the light within. And with that light is the codes, Lucifer.
Uh-oh. He's name dropping. He's name dropping. So he's coming from a Luciferian standpoint. So just bear that in mind.
That's who you are. You hate that aspect of you. You're in fear of it because duality dictates that you are. You are the light. You are the way. Light, Lucy, Luci, way, codes, fer, F-E-R. That is you. The singular you at the highest expression of the self, a fractal of the one. That is it. In a nutshell, in simple terms, we are one. Naturally, consciousness is one. Duality is a false construct.
And now I'm starting to get a little bit of kumbaya vibes here, but I will continue to humor the thought. So clearly he's talking about singularity theory here with the whole, like, we are all one collective consciousness. In I understand the idea of like there being a stream of consciousness, perhaps, but I don't know. Okay, well, let's just keep going with it.
Listen to Max Egan's upload today, The Last Great War, The Last World War. It's not the last World War because we're in a cycle of infinity. And all we ever do.
Was that a Marvel plug? Infinity War?
All we ever do, whatever form we take as consciousness, repeat. That is infinity, never ending, because we don't know what it is to stand in the eternal now in oneness, because we don't go within, and so we go without.
That's catchy.
It's deep stuff. I'm speaking to you as a 61-year-old man whose journey starting point was the passing of my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, in 1984. That's when my journey started. I'd never heard of George Orwell at that time, 1984. But that's when my journey started, in the summer of 1984, with the passing of my grandfather, which led me, guided by my auntie, my mum's twin, to see my first ever medium, a lady called Cuenca. By far the finest medium I've ever seen. Some have come close to her standard of evidence. Nobody has gone beyond it. Nobody. and Tesla was a medium in a different way. What Christine Quenker done was provided information from another reality which was unknown to me at that point, by communicating with my grandfather and others in that reality and bringing that information back from that reality and giving it to me.
That's a nice. I shouldn't say nice. I mean, it's a cool story. I don't know. I'm not really one that necessarily subscribes to the idea of mediums in a literal sense. Later on in the video, he's going to talk about something else that kind of brings up a point. Actually, I think it's coming up. I wrote down one point that I wanted to say that it made me think like it would definitely make for some interesting fiction. It's coming up here, and I'll pause it.
In this reality, that reality wasn't up there in the clouds. It is all around us. And like everything else, lacks our attention. Because what we do as human beings.
No, that's what I was going to say. If you go on YouTube, that's what that part reminded me of when he's talking about like the medium that they went to go see, the like how they do like seances or something like that, or like the spirit boards. And if you go on YouTube, there's a video like back when they used to have like daytime TV talk shows, they'd have these mediums on the talk shows, and there's like this really, it's actually pretty funny if you go on YouTube and look up. It's like cringe. It's like it's like cringe. I don't know if it's like if they call them mediums, but it's like basically they're like charlatans, or like people who are like pretending that they can talk to people in the afterlife. I forget what that guy's name was. I think it was like John something. I don't know. I think they made fun of him on South Park or something like that. But there was like this guy, there's these people, and they think they can talk to people in the afterlife, but really they're just pulling like a scam. And there's a video on YouTube where it's like just a cringe compilation of those people like failing bad. Like, and it's like really cringe. Like they're talking about like there's one that's like it's not so much cringe as it's kind of like it's kind of like really off-putting. Like this woman like was like scamming people and like saying that she could communicate with the dead, and she would go to people, she would prey upon family members that had like missing children, and she would be like telling them that their missing child is dead. And then the news anchor that was doing a piece on her showed a picture of a child to her. She's like, have you seen this? Do you know anything? Can you tell us anything about this child in this photo? And she was like, just going straight for death. She was like, yeah, that child died, blah, 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 blah. And the anchor, the news anchor, was like, actually, this is me. This is a photo of me when I was a child. And she was like, just like, she got all pissed off. It was kind of funny, but but also kind of like disgusting at the same time.
Look outside of ourselves for a saviour. Look outside of ourselves for someone to blame. And we're always looking outside of ourselves and controlled by what is known as the matrix or the program. It's duality. then it's not just duality, it's duality upon duality upon duality. That's infinity. The eternal now is where one's focus should be when one goes within to the singular I am, that you are a microcosm of that macrocosm that is the I am. Each of you, every blade of grass, every mineral, everything in creation is no more than consciousness expressing itself, own energetic frequency and vibration.
So at this point in the video, I was like, well, obviously this guy's been listening to a lot of Alan Watts. I can only assume, but that is that type of like the vibrations and the oneness and all that stuff. Like that's clearly that's a lot of Alan Watts talk there, which I have nothing against Alan Watts. It's just it's like psychological exercises, if you will. That's kind of like how I look at that type of thing, because it's so abstract. You know what I mean? Like I get where he's coming from, and I have like the Live Free, Live Rich has like a similar type of slogan where it's like the motto is value begins within, and that's kind of like where everything begins. Like everything that is external begins from the internal, and that in that sense, like I guess I kind of understand like where he's coming from, like with the oneness and everything. But if you're just all you're doing is dwelling inside yourself, and there's no reference to the outside, like in other words, like it's just everything, you're just you get to a point where you're just living inside of your head, and nothing and just nothing, you could just go insane. Like nothing would seem real if you don't have any, if what you're if it's not, something is not grounded in reality and grounded in objective reality, then you've been lost. You're lost in the abstract. And in that sense, yeah, there is more evidence to suggest or theorize that duality makes more sense than singularity theory. You could say everything. Well, I don't want to get too surreal here, but it's just food for thought.
We are governed by this false narrative, five-sense reality, third dimensional, controlled, dominated by it, fighting against another aspect of the self in Lakesh, in UIC and enemy, fighting against another aspect of the one, the I am, because we're dominated by our spiritual awareness, by our mind and our ego, and our dominance over what we perceive as the five-sense reality. And we use that to fight against other aspect of the one. But don't worry not, because that battle will soon be ending because of your subservience to duality, the program, the matrix, the government, the religions, the sports, fucking, I kid you not. If you think, and many of you do, and have seen through that charade at the Oscars the other day, that it was staged.
I totally agree, and I'm not even going to give that any more attention than than that. All I have to say is the world is a stage, people. Can't believe what you see on TV.
Wait till you wake up to the third dimensional reality as a whole, and not just that one bit of it. It's all staged. It's only make believe. And what gives it its power is the attention we individually and collectively give it, because we are controlled and dominated by our fear, our ignorance, our compliance, and our apathy. And everything I'm saying here in this one, I will be shouted down for by a few. Let me tell you, you won't stop me speaking the truth at my point of knowing and my point of awareness. You can continue to take your part in the matrix by highlighting all that is wrong with it, all that goes against your own personal moral code, this, that, and the other. But until you go within to the I am, the self, the one, and seek to understand that you are the energy, the battery that perpetuates the system that you claim to hate. That's the truth. That is the truth. If it were not so, I would not tell you. It's deep. It was never meant to be easy. Bert English to me in 1989, Red Road is the hardest road to walk. And it is. It is. And many fall off of it and go back to their
I had to look that up. I actually didn't know what that was before, the Red Road, but essentially that's like a Native American way, a Native American type of dark night of the soul, if you will, and it's a process of spiritual awakening.
televisions and to their politics and their churches and their sport and all.
Which that actually kind of explains the whole like kumbaya thing, which I think he talks about more in just a minute here.
All the other bread and circuses in this matrix system program that forces you, controls you, allows you to deny the truest, highest, natural aspect of the self, the light within, the knowledge within, the way within, the Lucifer within all of us.
That part got me. Right, here's the thing. See, that the only problem that I have to like kind of scrutinize you, Basil, about a little bit there is like you keep referring to the Matrix and subscribing to these constructs and giving these 5 sense reality type of systems and ideologies and stuff like this, and it's like, but you when you say Lucifer and you name drop like that, that in of itself is a construct as well, an ideological construct. You're talking about Luciferianism, which is a type of belief, which is just another type of dogma. So what if but it's funny because you made mention of like Buddha and Krishna earlier, and but can't you see that you're, what you're doing here when you name drop like that? You're effectively saying, well, it's not your God, it's my God that's proper or correct. You see what I'm saying? Like, you see, like you had something there when you were just keeping it abstract and saying, and you're basically trying to discuss the theory behind your singularity concept, and basically just trying to get away from the whole idea of duality. Okay, fine, explain this singularity theory, and how does it make sense in our three-dimensional world? But instead you jump into this Lucifer stuff. Well, now that's going to scare people away, in terms of, like, if you're just trying to, explain this concept of yours, because now it goes from just having an abstract discussion to now it kind of sounds like you're trying to proselytize people, and a Christian might not be too appreciative of that. Still got the mic. All right. I don't know, the mic popped up. So what if you find out that it's not Lucifer? What if you find out, what about the that other spirit there, the power of the Holy Ghost? What if you find out that it's actually the Lord Jesus? What if you find out that it's the power of Christ that compels you? Not to mention a whole slew of other spiritual archetypes that have been documented throughout the whole millennia of mankind's existence. I don't know. I just don't think that, like, if you're going to get into these abstract discussions, I think if you want to, I don't know. I don't think that it's a good idea to just start name dropping, because then it sounds like you're trying to indoctrinate people.
I know I sound mad, and I would never have said this 6 years ago or anything back beyond that. That's my journey. Coming to greater awareness and knowing. It never ends. But I can have it all, as you can, in the eternal now. Stop being dominated by the system that enslaves you. Seek to understand it. And the only way to do that is to go within to the self, to the one, to the I am. Otherwise, you will forever go without.
I would ask, without what exactly? You're saying go within or go without? It's a nice slogan. It's a nice sounding, little catchphrase, if you will. But I would ask, go without what? If you go within or go without, I mean, you could say something like, I guess it would make sense, have peace if you go within. If you go within and you find peace within yourself, then then you're not going without anything, because you're fulfilled. You feel fulfilled and you have peace from within, and that's a good feeling. Like, in other words, you don't need, like, anything that is external is just, like, it's just an extra. It's not a necessity, in other words, and that's a good feeling to have.
Everything that you know of that has happened in the past, everything that you know that is happening now, is your future, unless you change. because nothing will ever change unless you change. The truth will not change to accommodate me or you. We have to change to accommodate, understand, comprehend, resonate with the truth.
He's a very assertive man.
And if all you're going to do is throw back at me, in the case of this message, aspects of the matrix and the program that is the divide and rule that seeks to keep us separate from each other, then I won't engage with you. But if, like me, you seek to comprehend and understand the real truth, then come, let us sit together and smoke the pipe in peace and understanding. Let us be to each other as the buffalo is, a gift.
You see, you see what I mean? Now he's talking about the kumbaya thing again, like Willie Nelson. We're just going to smoke the pipe. We're going to be like the buffalo. I mean, no offense. I mean, I think that you can believe in enlightenment, but not have to like revert back to like living out of teepees. I mean, quite frankly, I like my modern accommodations.
Let us sit perceiving of each other as wolf, eagle, prairie dog, elk, bear.
And drop your down in the chat. Drop your spirit animal down in the chat. What is your spirit animal?
Know thyself, and when you know thyself, you will know others. That quote was by Hiawatha Storm from his book 7 Hours. Come, let us sit in peace and understanding. Let us be to each other as a gift, like the buffalo. Let us smoke the pipe. I'm not the panacea, nor is anybody, to your life's journey and the trials and tribulations on it. You'll only find the answers by going within. Somebody outside of you, as has often been done for me, can provide you with the tools and the direction, but they can't walk it for you. And you can't walk it for them. We have to understand this on a soul consciousness level, far beyond the spirit. Trust me, I know, because I first started walking a spiritual path, albeit controlled and dominated by religion, in 1984. Once I met Bert Inglis in 89, that I see the difference between religion and spirituality. And over these last 20 odd years or so, I've come to be more and greater awareness of the difference between the spirit and the soul consciousness self. Know thyself, and when you know thyself, you will know others.
I just wanted to comment on that part. I mean, that's a great point, actually. So many people are just it's like a where people just like you can see where it's just like people like emulating each other a lot. And I think that you lose like social that is very much like, you can see that in social media quite a bit, where it's like, and I think that that definitely pertains, where we're getting into this, when it comes to content creation, it's just like you can see a lot of like emulation, and you lose a little bit of that. I think, okay, let me give an example here before I start get myself in trouble or something like that. Basically, what I'm referring to is like, for instance, like TikTok. I don't use. I'm not interested in it. But it's like, the videos where they do like the voice thing, where it's like they're lip syncing somebody else's voice and doing a video, and it's like 100 people, like, no, what I'm saying, like just like hundreds of people, thousands of people will do effectively the same exact video, but just using their likeness. But it's the same snippet, it's the same sound bite, and they're just like recycling that sound bite, but using their likeness to make it seem like they're speaking the words. I don't know, that type of stuff just always like just seemed kind of weird to me, that whole thing. And I think like when he says like, know thyself and you will know others, it's like it's like when you do these things and you engage on social media, the point that I'm getting at is, I think that like, especially with the younger generations, they're not like growing into themselves when they engage in these, they're just on social media, and they're just they're engaging in these trends and stuff like that. It's just like it's like they're just doing what everybody else is doing, and they're not creating their own voice. They're not forming their own character, and building a personality of their own. And when they put these videos out there, it's just like perpetuating. Maybe I'm just being like, sound like cranky old man or something like that right now with this, talking about these young kids. But I think do you kind of catch my drift? Like when you know yourself, and like certain things that when you know yourself and you know what you believe in, what you're about, you can kind of like recognize those little cues. It might go out again. You can recognize those little cues in other people's behavior. And it's like that's where the whole like recognize real thing comes from. It's like you can kind of just, if you talk to someone long enough, or you hear them speak enough, you can kind of like pick up on the little cues, and you'd be like, you're seeing yourself, you see yourself in somebody else. And maybe that's where he's trying to like circle back. He's trying to pull a Saki and circle back with his whole singularity theory here.
That quote was by Hayamato Storm from his book 7 Hours. Come, let us sit in peace and understanding. Let us be to each other as a.
But that's another thing. Like if consciousness all originates from one single source, then why would there be? How could there be so much discord in the world? Wouldn't the whole world be kumbaya? Wouldn't the whole world be in harmony? Wouldn't there be world peace? But obviously there's again, that just goes to the idea of like, okay, well, if you talk about there's the 3D world, and then there's even if you say not on a spiritual level, but if there's the 3D world, and then in the spiritual realm there's the singularity, the single consciousness, but then there's the matrix, the 3D world, that's still a duality. That's still a duality of forces acting in contrast to one another.
The gift or the buffalo. Let us smoke the pipe.
What if you don't do drugs?
I'm not the panacea, nor is anybody, to your life's journey and the trials and tribulations on it. You'll only find the answers by going within. Somebody outside of you, as has often been done for me, can provide you with the tools and the direction, but they can't walk it for you. And you can't walk it for them. We have to understand this on a soul consciousness level, far beyond the spirit. Trust me, I know, because I first started walking a spiritual path, albeit controlled and dominated by religion, in 1984. Once I met English in 89, that I see the difference between religion and spirituality. And over these last 20 odd years or so.
Yeah, but Luciferianism is a type of religion, though. It's a dogma.
I've come to be more and greater awareness of the difference between the spirit and the soul consciousness self. And that's what I share here on my channel. I don't ask anybody to agree with me. Question me, if you will. But don't question me until you've questioned yourself.
I think dude seems pretty chill.
I'm always ready, willing, and able to learn from another. And I'm always ready, willing, and able to share my knowing and my awareness with another. Because it's the right thing to do, and I do it for the right reasons. But if you can't seek that from me or anybody else with humility, then you're part of the problem. We're all part of the problem. I do it sometimes, I know. The red road is the hardest road to walk. There is so much.
The red road, the dark night of the soul. Also, in internet pop, in internet subculture, also known as taking the black pill,
that we have to deal with. But it all starts with the self. Do that. It all starts with the self. If you look at the Matrix trilogy, all the darkness in there, the monotone colors, living underground, etc.
Keep referencing the Matrix. The Matrix was I'm pretty sure the Matrix was, well, the Matrix was an example of duality. The blue pill, the red pill, that's duality. Just saying. Not trying to be a dick about it. I'm just making that clear.
etc. And then at the end, Neo done what he done, achieved what he achieved, and the light shone. You are the only ones individually stopping the light shining within you and outside of you. We stop the light shining that is the highest and truest aspect of the self, because we are dominated and controlled by the matrix program, by duality, because we don't know what it is to be one. To be one. Stand in the eternal now.
Be one versus being a collective. I can get behind that. Be an individual. Don't be a group. You can't be a group. So you can't refer to yourself as a group. You can always only refer to yourself as an individual.
If this message resonates with you, then share the message. Research outside of yourself. Search within. Lamia, thank you. In Lakesh, in UIC Anatomy. Me taku e o yasin. We are all related. We are all one. And where we go one, we go all. Or we simply do not go at all.
Well, I'd like to thank Basil for sharing his video. And Basil, if you see this, appreciate it. Hopefully maybe you join the live stream next time. We can chit chat a little bit about this. And anybody else, if you're interested in having me watch your content, watch your YouTube videos, it doesn't have to be thought-provoking or anything, or deeply insightful as that video. It could just, simply be. It could be a book trailer. It could be, and it could be it could be a video essay, a book trailer. Anything that would be that you think would be appropriate for the chill stream. And again, if you have a website, a blog, you publish some poetry online, anything like that, you want me to read it live on the stream, I could do that as well. And it's been an interesting stream, and I'll catch you guys next week. Take care.